All right, welcome to the Saturday night tactical for Kensington. So we are going to play a 3-3-1-3. Not that complicated. It looks more complicated than it is. As always, our top never changes at Kensington right now in our game model. We always have high and wide wingers who are basically decoys. We're going to go Thorn at the 9. And this is the plan right now, T Ben, and we can argue about it if you want. But I'm less worried about this. Is not where we're going to win the game. Where I want to win the game is back here. 3 in the back, because if they come at us with 2 strikers, even if they come at us with 1 striker, yes, it's overkill. But that just means that now, T Ben, you can basically drop in here if you wanted to, drop down, still receive. So you're basically, these 3 are like midfielders that are going to win us the game defensively and offensively to do all the hard work. That's why I put Max and T-Ben there, is what I'm thinking. Joel and Gian will rotate when necessary, but Joel is an excellent midfielder. He will find holes to receive the ball. All right? And to play out to the wing backs. Same thing on this side. Joel will find holes if necessary and get you off and running. Create a 2v1 here. So this is the way, I believe last week as I went over on the tactical boards, I believe the reason we lost, one of the reasons we lost, is because we were in this formation. Let me show you. Players are different, but it doesn't matter to players so much. We were like this. Typical 4-3-3. But the problem is when you get pressed with 4 players, as we showed, if you pass the ball to Jake, he doesn't have any options. If he passes it to Max, Max is immediately closed down, right? If he passes to Gavin, Gavin's immediately closed down. If T-Ben drops, T-Ben gets closed down. It's 4v4. It's never going to work. So what we need to happen is, as we showed in this scenario, the ball to be played back, we spread, and you're going to see our formation form. This is a typical, I think, this maneuver. Here comes Ivan. The rumor was that this was invented by a Mexican to have the 6 drop in and become a center back, like long ago. It's a pretty standard move in tactical soccer, is to when you're facing 2 strikers, high strikers, you go 3 central center backs. So the offensive part of it makes a lot of sense, and defensively it'll make sense too, because now if we were to lose the ball, to recover, Jake takes him, Max takes him, Gavin takes him, Marcelo's free, T-Ben covers here, Max covers, Gian will drop and hold because there's a 6 there until we can get help. So Gian won't step, he will drop and hold. And then whoever this winger is going to be, simply drop back, and we're recovered. So it always gives us that, by having +1 at the back while we're on offense, it gives us a free man on defense, and allows everybody to mark tightly, knowing that they have safety behind them. So I believe this is one of the biggest problems we had last game. I think we would have beat Inter New Jersey if we would have had 3 in the back. I don't want to always do 3 in the back. I want to eventually do 3 in the back, 4 in the back, depending on, really I should say 3 center backs or 2 center backs, depending on how many guys they press with. They only press with 1, 10 drops way back. That's fine. This would work then. Now Gian can get higher. Joel can get higher, right? Let's say we had the ball, just to show you real quick. Now it's fine. This is all we need. As you'll see, this is easy to break. You play the ball here, and he presses him. No worries, because you just bounce it and bounce it. And then Jake dribbles forward. It's fine. You're only facing one striker. So I want to, until we can train our guys, though, to constantly shift between 3 center backs and 2 center backs. I feel like the safer formation is to go with 3 center backs. I feel like that's safer right now. Okay. So we can always like change it as the game goes if we need to. So now, defensively, we all man mark. We know that. So how do we handle it offensively? Let's look at what the offense might look like. What the offense may look like is here's the high strikers, okay, which they will do. They're not just going to let us sit back there and play with the ball. They're going to start to press. If they don't, we'll dominate the game. If they just let us have the ball. So what it might look like is Marcelo dropping in. Okay, Jake spread out wider. And what T-Ben and Max's job is to be a wide. This is why I put you two there in particular. Can you hear me, T-Ben?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So the reason I chose T-Ben and Max for this assignment is Max doesn't have the flash of T-Ben, but I feel like you will both do what we need done here, which is a very active and intelligent role. So you have to be a little bit of everything. You got to be part winger, part wide winger, part midfielder sometimes. So if the ball's all the way on this side, right? T-Ben can basically become a midfielder. Just be ready to go back. You can become a midfielder though. It's fine, right? You have a lot of freedom when the ball's on the other side because why? Where's the width coming from? So you don't have to worry about width. So you and Gavin has coverage here, right? If this guy doesn't follow you, you can create an overload with these guys. So it gives you a lot of freedom. So you're not really restricted. The only thing I need you to help with is, because Gavin is all by himself, I'll show T-Ben's side. This is going to leave Gavin out to dry. If as the ball is being switched back, T-Ben, you have to start to, if it's not there, get switched again. If you don't get it, as it's getting switched out to Gavin, someone needs to come down. Probably if you're far away, obviously this guy's going to have to come down. And if that happens, you can switch. All right. So you have to, I put you guys there to read the game. Max is not as mobile as T-Ben, but I saw T-Ben do this a lot, a similar position, kind of like dropping where no one can cover you. And they call this, literally the name of this is intelligent positioning of the winger, which is in between the opposing wing, outside or wing or outside mid and fullback. You position yourself in between. You can drop here to break the line. But if Gavin's a little higher, if Gavin happens to get out wide, same thing. You just position yourself here to be like a link to the wing. If Gavin gets caught in, you can drop all the way down. And then this guy can either be ready for a ball over the top from T-Ben, or he can drop in, ball gets sent down. This is why when Gian, which should be watching this right now, if you see, you can drive forward. If you see a chance, let's send it over to the fast winger. But if we start drawing him in, this is what I want you to be aware of, T-Ben and Max on your side. If we start drawing them in, the run's going to come from Gian. or Thorne. Or Thorne will make the run, and Gian will take over here. But someone's going to make the run when either the 9 or the 10, when the winger checks in and starts to direct, because they're only going to put up with this for so long. The winger dropping in to receive the ball from T-Ben, right? How long do you think they're going to put up with that before they start doing what? Okay. It's only a matter of time. Then Gian should be looking to receive the ball here. Okay. And hopefully play Thorne in. So I need you to link up on these sides.
Why do we want the winger to check in as opposed to just staying up there and then receiving the ball with like higher up the pitch?
Well, no, he has to check in because if he just stays here, he's going to lose the ball, like what's happening today. They just stand there.
No, I mean
what are you asking?
Like play the ball and then run to the ball and lay it off to Gian or something like that.
Yeah,
because that draws out the center back, as opposed to, instead of doing this.
I didn't, Luke. Let me stop you. I didn't mean that he just dropped. It's exactly what you just described. T-Ben receives the ball, and as T-Ben's receiving it, T-Ben's playing it, and the guy's checking into the ball. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
and then
but it wouldn't be like that much. Like,
what?
You know what I mean? Because you still want a good angle to pass the ball to Gian.
You're not listening to me. Let me explain you something. It's not the way you thought I was describing it. It means a normal check-in, like don't check in early and sit there. It means check in as you think T-Ben will play it. Be the first one there. They have to get in sync. But what I'm getting at is as he does that, to check in, the fullback's eventually going to start to follow him, and that's when you can play the ball to GM, or you can even play the ball back to T-Ben. You can play to Gian. They have all these kind of combinations. What I'm getting at is they know how to do that. These guys are high level players. I'm not dealing with like the lower level Casa players. So what I'm getting at is eventually you're going to draw this fullback in regardless. And that's when T-Ben, maybe the guy does come in early sometimes for T-Ben. He does come in early. And that's going to allow Gian to make the run, or Thorne. So what I'm getting at is we're going to fuck with the fullbacks. Okay. That we have superiority on the outside because of this formation. This is as you can see, we have, on this side of the pitch, we have, if Gavin can get wide, we literally have 3 players on the sideline. We got to be able to dominate the sides of the field. Okay. It doesn't mean we don't play into the middle. We have good players in the middle that can handle the ball. And like I said, when the ball is in the middle, Max can come in. He can either, depending on how far Max has to read the game, depending on how far over Jake and Marcelo come. If they come this far, Max has to be careful, right? But if Jake stays wide, okay, and he has to read where Joel is. If Joel gets too high, what does Max have to do? Be careful. You know what I mean? Just to give us some coverage here, because now we're dangerously close to not having superiority in the center. You see that, Max? And T-Ben, you would do the same thing on your side. You guys got to read the game when the ball's on the opposite side, because I want the wingers to stay high and wide. So I want Max and T-Ben to read the game and decide when we need offensive help and when we need defensive help. Does that start to make a little sense? And this is going to give us, superiority, sometimes over superiority in the back. Sometimes we won't need 3 center backs, but guess what? For me, in the early stages of our team learning a system, I would rather have an extra guy in the back, a +2, than a +0 or a 0, where we're just evenly matched, because a +2, we just don't score. It's overkill. We probably won't score, but odds are we won't get scored on if our players are quality. But a 0, well, that's how we got scored on last game, where we had even numbers. It's too hard. It's too easy for the offense to get us. So I would rather have overkill for now and then slowly work guys up the pitch when we think we can. There's going to be a lot of balls to to T-Ben and Max. I want to move on to something else if that's not, because I want to ask T-Ben some questions about players. So does that make sense? T-Ben and Max, basically, you're basically wingbacks.
Yep.
So you're part midfielder. Yes. Yes. Did we lose T-Ben?
No, he said yes, I thought.
Okay. I thought it was Max saying yes. So for me, we need, in this formation, in all of our systems, we need fast wingers. If it was clear to me even more so today, like we played very well in a cost 3 game, played the first place team. You know, our players aren't as good as the EPSL team, but they're good players. And it was because we didn't have fast wingers playing the wing. I had my fast players elsewhere because of guys not understanding certain tactics. That, like, when the ball gets sent over the top, you know, if T-Ben goes to send this ball and this guy can't be dangerous, it's just a waste. It's just a waste. So we have a lot of fast wingers. You know, I thought about putting T-Ben there as well, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like I need you to understand, and T-Ben, I want you to understand, like, the wingers in this are basically decoys. It's to drag the fullbacks out. I don't want T-Ben spending all day being a decoy. I would rather we have other guys. We got Nana, Wilson, T-Ben's brother. I don't know him that well. We have another Division I college guy, Andy, like, that are on the roster now. We have plenty of, like, foot soldiers. Yes, go ahead, T-Ben.
But I was just wondering, is my brother registered now?
He's registered. So what does he play?
Okay. He plays in the middle. He plays defense if you need him to. Like, he's an actual defender. He can play either the 6 at center back or inside the middle.
All right, I got to see him. Because right now you see this team, it's pretty. So we'll probably look, you know, if everybody's good and everybody shows, we'll look to sub him in for, like, Max or somebody later as the game goes. You know what I mean? Or if something happened, you know, with Jake and Gavin, if they're, so you're saying he could be one of these 3 center backs, right? Is that what you're telling me? T-Ben? Okay. We'll have to figure that out as we go. So let's show some defense first, and then we'll do offense. So here we go. You guys, who can move the pieces? Just is it just Luke and Val?
I think
I
it's just
can't. I'm
me,
at work.
just me
I'm
and
on my
you
phone.
and Anise. Me, you, and Anise.
Okay, so Anise, go ahead. Show me our defense. And T-Ben and them can watch it. I'm moving guys as you're moving them. Okay, goalie has it at his feet. Show me what we do, boys. Show me what we do. Who's moving T-Ben? Who's moving T-Ben?
I can't physically move myself because I'm about to get in the car to go home.
No. I know you can't. I'm asking because it's the correct person.
Go back to the
He's
milk.
covered.
Yes, please.
That was me.
11.97.
That was me. My bad.
Okay. No, I want you to move him, man. You have to move.
Okay.
You and Luke have to move the pieces.
Okay, got it.
I want you to move all the pieces. This is a good chance for you to learn, Anis.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So, is Thorn a goalkeeper? Or
Thorn is the 9.
he's a 9 now?
You'll know when you see him play.
Okay. Now, because I seen the post on Instagram, and I seen it was a goalie, so I was just kind of.
They needed a keeper. He can play multiple positions.
Oh,
He's just a good
that's
player.
sick. That's sick. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
So this is perfect. There's only one problem. The 7 and the 2 they're not goal. They're not, at least be even. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to be goal side per se, or you're behind, but it doesn't hurt. But you can be even. Like when Leeds plays this is our model. We're modeling ourselves after Marcelo Bielsa's system at Leeds United. What we're doing, in case you were wondering, and East and anyone else, is we're going to model it exactly, and then we're going to try to model it exactly how they do it. But of course, we're an amateur team. We may not be able to do everything, but we're going to try the perfect model first until we start to falter and see what adjustments we have to make. So far, we haven't really had to make any adjustments. Yeah, there you go. So they generally stay like directly behind their opponent, which that's something we may change because I actually don't like that. I watch Leeds, and this is something I might differ from Bielsa. I prefer players to be a little tucked in. Is usually how I teach it. But like Gian here, obviously needs to be straight on. But like I would prefer this guy to be in, and this guy to be in. It's just it's a little more confusing because it doesn't look like clearly who your guy is. But for me, this is a better system.
Yeah, I mean, a good rule of thumb is to say, like, instead of just being inside, you want to be goal side, because Gian is goal side. Everyone's goal side. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good
probably a good thing is you want to be in line between your opponent and the goal. You want to have an intersecting line. So if you drew a line, for example, as a good rule of thumb, you know what I mean?
You're casting a cover shadow on the goal.
Yep. So you can see it with Gian. You see it in these, with Jake.
Yep.
Jake could actually move a little over. See, but at least you could be ready to. You could play off of that a little depending on the scenario, but that's kind of like your.
One single file line is better. I mean, it's good. Like in terms of
What's that?
Like being in a line with
Well, it just allows you to intercept
like directly with the player in front of you.
Yeah. So if the ball is here, right? If Jake is behind, it allows him to intercept the ball, but he has to be careful because Jake's main priority. The problem is if the ball is played like this, Jake's in trouble. That's why you'll generally see them now. They'll just stand behind a guy, and your goal is to stop him from turning. This is critical for those watching later. Like, we're not trying to steal the ball yet. Someone reminded me of this, who's helping us analyze games for Kensington, that to remind you guys that, in this instance, it's not Jake that's going to get the steal. Jake is here to make him play a ball back or to the side. Square passes are dangerous passes. It's then the job of Gian to put even more pressure. It's then the job of the 7 to cast a cover shadow and put even more pressure. And then the ball has to be played back. It's the job of Thorn to be ready. That if it is, now Thorn puts pressure, and now maybe this time he panics and he tries to send this ball, and now it's picked. It comes after. So everyone's got to do their job. Do your job, prevent your guy from playing forward, and make them play back. And then eventually they're gonna, if you think of American football, they're going to throw an interception. And believe me, they will throw interceptions. It's crazy because guys are not used to be put under this much pressure. Thorne has promised us that he will sweep, and he showed me it on the board. But I've had a lot of people promise, and I will make that change quickly if Thorne is fucking up. If Thorne's screwing up, we will make the change quickly. We'll get T-Ben. We'll probably get T-Ben out there at the 9, like the original plan was. But I like to keep thinking of our plan until, even off the game time and through the game. We have to constantly think about modifying our plan if new information comes. So
also quick question.
Yeah.
So as you said, like having a straight line between you and the next player in front of you, or like a diagonal line, the lines that you just showed, is that a form of shadow defending, as you said?
Well, so let's say Thorne's coming here, and now Gian, like let me ask you, because there's multiple ways to do this. So how would you defend the 6 right now? Well, it depends. I mean, it depends, right? Like some people would say there's one way to be ultra aggressive and do what? Press them.
Yeah.
Which is actually what we would do. So let me show you the Atletico defense let me just give you an idea. This is Atletico Madrid's defense. So what would happen is when the ball's at the keeper, the 9 and 10 will sit back. Okay. So let me actually show you Atletico Madrid's defense, which we're going to run. So this is actually Atletico Madrid's defense. So the ball's here, everybody stays even, right? And back. The ball gets played out. Keep in mind, this is not our defense right now. I'm going to show him like a basic Atletico Madrid zone. Ball gets played out. Thorne is actually going to press from here, right? Gion's going to just stay here and cover him. Because Gian notice Gion's not goal side. So it's kind of odd, right? Gian is not goal side, is he?
Yeah, he's not.
He's not. There's no reason for him to be goal side. Why? Because Thorne is doing what?
He's already
Thorne is casting a cover shadow.
Casting a shadow, correct?
Yep. So Gion's staying here because what's just going to happen is if the ball gets played here, the 7 is going to come out on a diagonal. Notice this defense is completely different almost from Leeds. This guy's going to come out on a diagonal. Thorne is going to come in here. All right.
Is a triangle.
Joel should have already come up. Sorry. All right.
It's like triangle defending.
Yep, from the sideline. Notice we formed a triangle to prevent the ball. Atletico Madrid likes to keep the ball out of the middle. They don't play man-to-man defense. They treat the middle like a castle, like a castle wall, and they keep it out. And now Thorne's not trying to intercept this ball yet. He would just stay here, and when the ball gets played back, Thorne will cut here and cast a cover shadow here. We used to have him do this. From the center back to the center back, he basically now drops in between. He's doing it to the 6. See it? Gian is covering this, covering the. At that moment, Joel comes up. Gion's back and Marcelo's back. They have like a little slant. He drops back again. Ball gets played over. Now watch this maneuver. Thorne drops back. Again, this is not our current defense. I'm just showing you how there's multiple ways. Thorne drops back as Gian casts a cover shadow. Thorne drops in. Joel mirrors Thorne, comes back. Marcelo mirrors Gian and is going to go up. So notice Thorne is covering the 6, but he's not goal side. I'm showing you this to show you that there's so many different ways you can defend. We're going to defend goal side though. When the ball gets played out, you'll see the same thing. Oops, ball gets played out. At that point, this guy comes out. Gian and Marcelo form a triangle to protect the middle. That's Atletico. We're not playing Atletico. So show me ours again, since we're playing ours. What do we do now? So we want to get goal side. So it's not really when you're goal side of someone, you're not, it's not a cover shadow. It's not called a cover shadow, if that's your question. Anise. You're just goal side, you can get in the weeds called a cover shadow to the goal, but the reality is I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't call it that. You're going to get goal side so that you can prevent the guy from making a dangerous pass towards the goal. That's what you're doing. So, what we were saying is you just want to kind of be in, but so you can step to your guy. The further you are away, the closer in you can get. So I don't need the 7 like up his ass. I can have him kinked in a little bit. I call it back and in, like back and inside. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for that man. So Wilson, this would be like, Wilson, do you have a computer or are you on a phone? Wilson. You're muted, Wilson. Okay. So I guess he must not know. Who knows? All right, so this is good. All right. So perfect defense. You see, it's very simple. Like the 9's covering the center backs. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, at the end of the day, Marcelo had the only weird part was one of our 3 center backs had to do what? Come out. That's it. So I need, Marcelo and Jake and Gavin when you're watching. I prefer if it was like if we want to keep Marcelo as the free man, I prefer if it was Jake. Right? Keep Marcelo free. Simple, right? I know you put the 6 on the 10, but in this scenario, the reality is Jake's going to be responsible for the 10, just so you know that, Jake, if you're watching later. Jake or Gavin will be responsible for the 10. It'll actually probably be Gavin on this side, Jake on this side. Those guys are going to man mark the 9 and 10. So Gavin's job will be to follow that 10 or inside defensively. Offensively, Gavin can drop out and will create that shell. So now let me show you. Like offensively, they send a long ball. Now, Gavin can do what? I'm okay if Gavin drops out wide and Jake drops out wide to give us an extra, possess the ball a little bit, make them run. I'm fine with that, to keep that 3 in the back. And this way, this gives T-Ben more freedom, and Max can get wide. And this is going to be tough for them to defend, right? So they start to press. They'll probably immediately press Marcelo. The ball can be sent to Gavin. Press is going to come. This is where we're getting, Marcelo has to drop again. Okay. If he's followed, boom. Okay. If he's not followed, he swings it out to Jake. Right. And we switch sides. Max should have been dropping down. You see this, Max? Just drop down a little bit to give him an option. Okay. The winger needs to stay high and wide. Now if this guy has to make a decision, if this guy steps, Max can just chill right here and just be ready to, boom, break the line.
So I think instead Jake should just start to drive forward. Right?
Oh, he can. I'm just showing them.
That's the best thing to do.
But what I'm showing them right now was the passing patterns on how we have numerical superiority. But yeah, he could also drive forward.
Yeah, and then Max should probably stay as high as he can, but still having a passing option to try to break the line.
If Jake drives forward, yes. If Jake drives forward, yes.
But still, he should just try to stay as high as he can, just like in the 4v2 ronda.
No, but listen, because the danger is if they're pressing us and now it's too late, now we're fucked. You know what I mean? Now we're screwed. If he waits too long, so yeah, Max has to read what Jake's going to do, but Max's primary responsibility, I need Max to not leave Jake on an island, because Jake's always going to be tucked in. And it's the same thing with Gavin and T-Ben. You got to read the play and not leave them on an island. Like at the end of the day, like you got to just be careful. We don't get if they're pressing us, we have to be careful. Once they stop pressing us, like I'm assuming they're gonna press us. When Jake gets the ball, I'm assuming they're gonna run at him. If that's the case, Jake can't drive forward. So Max needs to slide down, and then it's so easy to beat it. I mean, it's just so easy, right? Joel can even sit here, and we could beat it this way, and then, boom, and then Joel can. Of course, if Jake sees space, he can drive forward, and at that point, it's called open ball. Just to reiterate what an open ball is, what Luke's talking about is called an open ball. An open ball means the ball can be played forward. I didn't make up the term. So Luke's talking about an open ball. In an open ball, you don't check in. So if this 7 does not come, doesn't press Jake, Jake's in an open ball situation. So Jake drives forward. At that point, Max shouldn't be checking in, or this would look like this, and this is stupid, right? You follow me? So it's an open ball. So everybody should be ready to make runs. All right. And, they'll probably be defending up higher, obviously. Okay. This is why it's important that the winger stays wide. We'll already have Max wide. If we had to play the ball over the top, you can run at a diagonal to it. If you're here, you can only run straight. This is why and I hope Wilson's listening. This is what I'm talking about. If you're there, you can only run straight, and you're never gonna get a head start. You're gonna be offsides. Whereas here, you can run a flat run as he's playing the ball, and then cut and receive it, and go to chase it. So it's important that you guys start off high and wide.
Well, you want to start wide so you can give that 10 and a 9 space.
Yeah, and also, while we're working it through the midfield, T-Ben has it. This is a nightmare. If this happens, this is a disaster. Okay? I want everybody to see this. This is a disaster. You see this? Can we move the ball forward now? I mean, I know T-Ben's a great player, but we don't want him taking this guy on consistently, right? Is this bad?
Yeah, it's clogged.
This is the situation we need to avoid from our wingers. Okay? We need to avoid this. Okay? Needs to be avoided. It should look like this. And now the ball can watch. That's how much better it is now. Watch. Ball gets played down. Ball can be played over the top of the corner, but it can also be played here. And Gian can do what? Check in. Played here. Played here. Okay? It unlocks so many things. So I need Wilson to understand this, Wilson. All right? I need you guys to understand this. I'm purposely leaving the 7. Wilson, can you hear me? God damn it, Wilson. Wilson, are you muted and trying to talk?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Did you see what I just showed, Wilson?
It's not on my screen, though.
You can't see it on your screen? How about now? You can't see it? Can you see it or no? The tactical board?
No, I can't see it.
God damn it, Wilson.
Try to click
How the hell is he
view.
not able to?
Click like view and then set it to standard view.
Oh, yeah. Do what Luke said. Try it out. Well, Luke, try to get him to fix it. I need him to see this.
I can see it now.
Oh, okay. But Wilson, this is why we need you wide. Wilson, this is why we need you wide. For this, so let me show you again. If you're here, Wilson, this is a disaster. We're going obviously this way. This is a disaster. The only play T-Ben has is just to launch the ball over, which is what the U.S. women's team did. I just watched their game. It was terrible. They couldn't score the whole game against goddamn South Korea. Because all they do is they get the ball out to the wing and they just launch it into the middle. And try to get Carly Lloyd or someone to get a header. It's completely stupid. So what I want, everybody consider this bad? This is bad, right? Because Gian checks in, he's covered here. I mean, this is bad. We're going to end up playing in the back here. We might get out of this. We have quality players. We play to Gian. Joel drops in. I mean, maybe we swing it, but this is not good. Let me show you the easiest thing to do. And I'm going to put Wilson's name on this. if Wilson can just be here, right? And T-Ben has it. Okay. Now T-Ben can play over the top and let Wilson, he can play over the top in this direction. So the goalie can't get it, and Wilson can make that diagonal run towards goal with a head of steam. He can also do this. T-Ben can play the ball down. If this guy comes at him, Wilson can one touch the ball to Gian or back, but he can one touch it to Gian, draws the guy in. He can spin around the guy. Gian can play the ball through now, and Wilson can get it. I mean, it just opens up. I'm not going to give you like a million things to do there. You guys are good players. You know all the things you can do there. But like it opens up so many things. Whereas if Wilson's here, he's in the same space as Gian. So Gion's going to check in. And now what do we have? This is, you never want guys in the same line, first of all. So this is Gion's area. All right. Like guys like Wilson, I have no problem putting you in the middle if you want to be in the middle. But like when we put you here, your job is here. And if the guy follows you like this, my God, you know, now, right? Now I don't mind a ball here and let Thorne run onto it, right? I don't mind that because it's just going to be 1v1 against center back, right? Whereas if you were here, you know, and now T-Ben sends that ball and he has no other options. Now both the center back and the fullback can cover Thorne. It's harder to win. So we need this width. So most of your day, Wilson will be ready to go over the top, but checking down with T-Ben and then bouncing the ball into Gian. See it? All right. Who then can now control it, and then you can make it run this way. Yeah.
1 second. What position is T-Ben playing over there?
Say again.
What position would that be for T-Ben? Like, what position is he playing? T-Ben.
Oh, okay. Let me show you because we showed it at the beginning. So we're going to play 3 center backs, 3 in the back.
Yeah.
T-Ben is what you would call, if you watch, it's like we're playing like a 3-4-3.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you. Here's the 3. Oh, shit. Let me make it simple to see. So 3, 4, 3. See it? See the 3-4-3?
Yeah, see.
So we have multiple things we can do with that we're trying to do at Kensington. This never changes. This part never changes. I always like to have 2 high and wide wingers for just the reason I showed you, to create space in the middle.
So I'm not
and
playing as a winger. I'm playing as a forward.
Yeah, you're a forward.
Okay.
You're an outside forward, if that makes more sense to you. You're not like an inside winger. Like I watched you at
Temple.
The game you played. No, you played it.
The Unity Cup?
I watched you in the Unity Cup final. Yeah, I think sometimes you were maybe a little bit more inside. That's a different kind of winger. You know, that would be more of if we played like some teams play a 4-2-3-1. Like this. I hate this formation, but it's okay. I mean, it works for some people. Then you'd occupy. You're in this box. See this box between. You're more of a mid. For me at that point, you're more of an attacking midfielder. You see what I'm saying? And you know what I mean. Thorne stays in between the center backs. Gion's in the hole. You're occupying this hole. You're more like what's his face from Man City, number 17. Luke, who's your favorite player? What's his name?
De Bruyne. It's De Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
You Kevin De Bruyne? Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne. So this will be more of a De Bruyne role. But the problem is we're not Man City yet. You know, Man City does that because everybody knows what they do, right? They get, De Bruyne's not the winger. actually he's the, but you can do that with this formation if T-Ben would then be like this. See? Then you could do something like that, right? But we're not, if you look at this, this is, it's just a different way to play. But you need that width. Even when Man City puts a guy there, they have the width. We just do it with different players. Different players have different roles. I don't like to bomb my fullbacks forward at this level yet until we get a better system. I think it's too dangerous, to be honest.
In a way, though, we are kind of bombing our fullbacks forward, but our fullbacks, we're just not calling them fullbacks. We're calling them T-Ben. But if we play, let's say, you know what I mean, like
keeping Marcelo back.
Yeah. So like, it is similar to how Man City plays, but we're gonna call them different things. So like, we'll play 3-4-3, right? So another way to think of that could be like 3-2-5, I guess, if you pushed up, T-Man a little more. So it all just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and then Gian is going to kind of be more the De Bruyne role sometimes.
So what we're doing with Gian is, so in this formation, Gian has a lot of ground to cover. All right. Side to
Gian and Joel is going to share it, right?
Yeah.
You would never have Gian run all the way across. Or you could have like.
Just let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Yeah, I want Joel to be generally the guy in this zone, but they can exchange. I want Gian to be in the higher zone. So Gion's generally roaming this zone in between the back line and the midfield line. And Joel is going to roam generally this line. All right. And T-Ben is here, but has the freedom to go anywhere. But I need you to link this up. Same thing with Max. And to tuck in for defense. To link up with Wilson to become a midfielder. If it's over here, to come in. Joel, somehow gets like up in here and Gion's out this way. You can come in and try to receive the ball. If Joel's trying to break this line right here, and you see an opportunity to get a diagonal pass, run in and get it. Okay, it's fine. This is why I have you there to try to read the game a little bit. But in general, when the ball's on that side, you have freedom. When the ball's on your side, I want to say you just have less freedom because I need you to get down here. Like as the ball is being swung, you lose your freedom. Okay. And I need you and Max to get to your side so that, we're trying to get this little triangle between T-Ben, Gian, and Wilson on this side. Does that make sense? We did it with our Costa 3 team today. They had a nice link up, and the players aren't even as good. So, any questions? Because it's 8:00 now. I don't want to keep you longer. We can stay extra if anybody wants to, but I'll stop the recording. Anybody?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sounds good.
Everybody's good, right? All right. So we are now in extra time, so everybody can leave. And I'll stop the recording because I like to keep the recording small. So I'm going to stop recording. Good job, everybody.